it's Jennifer J. Hammond, and I'm so excited. We have a really powerful story here. Two stories. I'm going to share two amazing stories. So my next guest is William Hudson. Welcome to the show, William.
Hi, nice to be here.
I'm so happy because this is something that not very many people want to talk about. You have a brand new home and then you lose it to an earthquake. Can you
Yeah,
talk about this? I mean, it's so painful, but I know that
yeah,
your
that
story will.
well, that brings back memories. Yeah, it was back in the Northridge earthquake. You remember that?
Yeah.
When I had just bought a brand new condo in the mouth of the Malibu Canyon. I was working at Pepperdine University at the time, and I lived on the other side of the canyon. It was a brand new condo. And then the Northridge earthquake came and was in the middle of the night, and or no, it was early morning. And the shaking was so bad that I thought, oh no, this is the big one. This is the big one. And so I rolled out of bed. I don't know. I did this subconsciously. I rolled out of bed and got underneath the arches leading towards the bathroom suite. And I'm glad I did because it saved my life. There's a mirror that's on the back of my bed that came down and broke into the shape of a guillotine and came down right on my bed where I was sleeping.
Wow.
Yeah, and by the time the shaking was over, I had bloody knees from rug burns. A lamp had fallen over onto my head and put a cut on my forehead.
Hmm.
And I thought, okay, this is it. I thought, if this is this bad at my home, I can only imagine that all of Los Angeles has probably been leveled at this point. And I thought, first thing I thought was, I need to get outside and turn the gas off so that there aren't going to be explosions and things like that.
Right.
And so that was the experience of the earthquake itself. And then I found out, oh, and the plywood, the plywoods in the walls, the what do you call it, the plywood on the inside of the wall, um, came down. One of the bath toilets broke and flooded half the condo. Everything in the kitchen came down and broke.
What what
Everything.
story were you on? What level?
What?
What level were you on?
I'm on the bottom level.
You're on the
Well,
first floor of the condo.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And it turns out the reason it was so bad and the floor buckled, the reason everything was so bad is because the builder didn't follow code in building they didn't do the foundation correctly. They didn't compact the ground.
Hmm.
They didn't put what's the stuff you put in between the outside wall and the inside wall? Plywood maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Stabilizers or
they
yeah.
didn't put plywood in the walls, and so that's why they cracked and sort of came apart. And the garage hinges, the door on the garage came off. I mean, it was really messy. And it turns out that mine was one of the worst ones, and things weren't as bad all around as I had thought it would be because of how bad but it was all because of the way they built it. It was built incorrectly. And so,
So I'm curious, before you go on, I'm curious, did you have a home inspection?
oh yes, of
You did.
course. Yeah, to close escrow, we had to. I know. I don't even know how it passed. I know.
Ah. And it
Uh,
wasn't up to code. They didn't build it to code. And
it wasn't.
oh my gosh. And the home inspector didn't figure it out. Wow.
Yeah, the home inspector, I don't remember, it was so long ago, I don't remember who the home inspector was, of course, but you can't sue the city. And
Yeah.
we ended up getting into a big me and the other homeowners whose homes were not built to code, we all ended up getting into a lawsuit against the builder, and that went nowhere. So I had to immediately find a place to live. I couldn't, it was uninhabitable. And so um, fortunately at the time I was attending a church. Um, I was very active in the church. I was on the board of directors at the time, and so the pastor put the word out to the congregation saying I needed a place to stay. Could anyone help? And so I was for over the next 10 years after this earthquake, I waiting on the oh, and I got FEMA money. Um, I got some FEMA money, and I actually ended up using the FEMA money to get myself an apartment. I was able to afford an apartment on the beach in Malibu, which is near my employer, Pepperdine University. And yeah, kind of lost my train there, but it led for me.
You lived a nomadic life. You just kind of wandered
Exact
around for
exactly, that's where I was going to go. I basically became a nomad for the next 10 years. I was waiting for the lawsuit to possibly come through, and it never did. They didn't make any payments. The bank foreclosed or um forbeared my payments. They made it so I didn't have to pay while everything was in limbo. And but eventually someone came along and they bought out all the houses from the banks, and they foreclosed on us. And so
uh,
so I lost my home. I lost 10 years of the chance of building equity in my home. And I must have moved more than 10 to 15 times in those 10 years. And that was my life for about 10 years. And then I finally got back into real estate and started buying. I bought a condo in Malibu, which I lived in for a few years, and I rented it out as a rental. And then I bought another place in well, now we just bought a new home. We're living in Desert Hot Springs with a view. You can see the view behind me. That's from our backyard. It's Mount San Jacinto,
oh, that's gorgeous.
near
I was wondering
Palms.
if that was a real place. That looks
Yeah,
gorgeous. Yes.
that's from our backyard of our new home. It's a new build, near Palm Springs, very affordable. So yeah, so that's
So I was gonna say you survive. I mean, one thing is so blessed that you survived the earthquake, that you weren't injured, and
yeah,
it wasn't a deadly one. However, you are also a stage 4 cancer survivor, right?
that's right. That's right. Yeah, that was the earlier chapter, the earlier or one of the latest stories in my life. About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I was told, after doing everything my doctors told me to do, they told me I was probably going to die anyway within 10 months, and to get my affairs in order and live life to the fullest. So I said, no, I'm not done living yet. So I did some research and found alternative treatments, and here I am alive 6 years later. So,
Yay!
yay, thank you.
We got to celebrate that. I mean, that's a yay moment for sure. And I think it's really powerful when one, you face the odds and you don't just accept what someone tells you, because
Absolutely.
plenty of times in my life I've been told, no, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not good enough, or you're not going to be, even health struggles. I think that it's so important to find even like your earthquake story. I mean, one, I think it's so important to share that story, and for people and that's one of the reasons I asked the question about the home inspector and such. And so often, and I'm curious, did he survive? Are they still building, or did they file bankruptcy?
I never found out.
That's,
It's been, they should have been put out of business for sure. I think they probably did go out of business.
okay.
Yeah.
Not always do they, though. That's part of the reason I asked the question, is sometimes somehow those builders survive, and there's still bad actors out there. And it's one of those things I always want to employ. If you're going to buy,
Mhm.
even if it's new construction, really
Yeah.
understanding kind of a worst case scenario, and checking the things, that you don't think that you should have to check, like building
Yeah.
codes, and are they getting building code violations and such. But anyway, that's
Yeah. I
why.
learned that lesson.
Yeah, but you got back in, and I want to also really commend you for getting back into the real estate and then renting out a property and getting back in and buying another one, because I think real estate is so powerful, but so often people give up. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I had bad luck with my real estate. I've owned probably half a dozen homes, and the first two or three I've had bad luck with. I lost money. I bought a home. One of my first homes was in Port Hueneme, California. It
yeah,
was a condo, and I ended up moving to another place, and then I rented it out. But I'm no, no, no. I sold it to a young couple, and I carried the loan on it, which was a big mistake, and they ended up defaulting.
yeah.
And so that was a whole big mess anyway. And then I lost my home in the earthquake, and I haven't had much luck. But then in the last 15 years, I bought a home 15 years ago out in this area, and we got quite a bit of equity in the house from that. So yeah, so yay.
Yay! So I mean, I think that's like, there's the old saying, you can never lose if you continue to keep persisting and playing the
Yeah.
game. And I think it's so often we get knocked down, but you got knocked down that. And then also with cancer, we know we don't have a whole lot of time, but I would love for you to share a little bit about you went ahead and wrote a book about your experience, right?
Yes, that's right. I wrote a book, just came out in April this year. It's called Death Can Wait: How I Beat Stage 4 Cancer Naturally, and it's a bestseller on Amazon. So yeah, it's doing really well.
And that's good because I think it's also a very powerful thing to be able to share your story, to get it. I know what it's like to get it out of your head and onto the pages.
Yeah,
That's a big challenge. And I want to say a big yay as
thank
well
you.
is really doing that. And
Thank you.
you're a professor at Pepperdine University. So what do you teach?
Oh, actually, I worked at Pepperdine University for many years. I was an IT person. I was in management and administration. My first job at Pepperdine was I was a director of admissions. I was the director of admissions records, and then I was later a director in the IT department. And so I've done a lot in my career. I did a lot of project management and business analysis, and things like that. I worked at University of Redlands later for 15 years, and I just recently retired from IT business in higher ed.
And now you're being the author, best-selling author, and now you're
Yeah,
getting on podcasts. Well, I'm so
yeah,
happy to have you. And like I said, I'd love to have you back another time. And definitely we'll do some lives on the social medias as well, because I would love people to know more about your story and inspire more yays in this
yeah, that'd be
world.
fun. Yeah,
Yay.
I'd love to do that.
Okay, so as you know, I wanted give people your website and any social
Oh,
media so they know how to get a hold of you.
yeah, you can go to my website. It's williamhudson.org, and that talks about the book and has a little bit more about me, how to reach me. You can find my book on Amazon. You can just search Death Can Wait, William Hudson, and you'll find it. It has a really pretty cover. It's got something similar to this background on it. So yeah,
Perfect.
that's how you
Okay,
can reach
good. Well, thank you. And as you know, I'm always interested if I would like for you to lift your voice and say yay with me as we go off the air. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yes, of course.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Yay! Yay! Yay!
We always have to
Yay!
celebrate the yays in life, and you have so many.
I do. Thank you.
Thank you, William.
If you could just help people understand the principles, then they could make better decisions in real estate. We started getting an audience. And so with the radio show, I actually get to help many, many people.
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may know me as the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And if you want more help in getting from where you are to where you want to be, I want to encourage you to listen to the Jennifer Hammond Show